From my late teenage years, I've always loved the countryside, the hills and the mountains. In my case, the Lake District Mountains. I was 28 when me and Audrey set off on our first holiday abroad. Our destination was Austria. It was dark when we arrived at our hotel, but the following morning when we opened the curtains, we were amazed at the breathtaking sight in front of us, the Magnificent Alps. Nearly 40 years has passed since our first view of the Alps, and another planned trip in our motorhome has finally arrived. After driving through Germany, we booked in on this campsite in this lovely area in the Bavarian Alps surrounding Berchtesgaden in southern Germany. The sail on Lake Congersee in the heart of the Bavarian Alps was a great start to our holiday in this almost fjord-like scenery. Overlooking Berchtesgaden is the Eagle's Nest, a house built for Hitler. Now it's a restaurant, and the views are spectacular. The motorhome is not our only mode of transport. Once we've booked in on a campsite, we use several types of transport to get about. We moved on into the Austrian lakes to St. Wolfgang, a resort we last visited 25 years ago. The weather was cloudy and misty on arrival, but the lakeside campsite location was perfect. Taking advantage of the flatter area, we got out our bikes. The small ferry takes about 5 minutes to cross the lake to the new cycleway, which then follows the lakeside and then goes further afield into some of the alpine valleys. We moved on to Kaprun near Zellemzee. The ride up the funicular and the bus through the network of tunnels took us back into springtime and the alpine world that we love. The drive up the Grossglockner Pass took us south over the backbone of the Austrian Alps to the famous Grossglockner Glacier. Well, here we are at the Grossglockner Glacier. It's a wonderful sight, but the area around it is unbelievably commercialised. Marmots are usually shy animals, but here they're used to all the visitors. Yes, the views may be spectacular, but the commercial side of Austria is not for us, so we moved south to the beautiful village of Heiligenblut. This is a beautiful unspoilt valley where the old farming traditions still carry on as they've always done. With this traditional farming, the alpine meadows are unaffected by modern farming methods and clothe the hillside with their random patchwork of colours. Further up the valley, we explored the woods and found several rare orchids, but none were to compare with the lady slipper orchids we found earlier in the holiday in the Bavarian Alps.
These last two that we've found are absolutely at the best because they're in the shade.
We moved on northwestwards, crossing the Alps again to Krimmel Falls. These falls were spectacular, but didn't have the volume of water that the Rhine Falls had in Switzerland. It's 25 years since we last visited Meyerhofen, so it was up on the cable car before starting the climb up the Ahornspitze. But our first goal was the mountain hut. We were surprised how much lying snow there was, even in the middle of June. The mountain huts are run by the Austrian Alpine Club. They provide overnight accommodation, meals, and in our case, a complimentary glass of schnapps. 25 years ago, me and Julie, my daughter, climbed to the summit, but it was too dangerous this year.
And then maybe, then it's okay. Before 2 weeks, no chance. Because on the other side, it's very steep. And it's not like it.
We discovered another traditional unspoilt area of Austria around the Moose. This was a perfect spot for getting the bikes out again for another few days cycling. This is the easy way. We gain 3,000 feet in altitude to give us easy access to a stunning mountain area. The cable car near the Moose gives access to Germany's highest mountain, the Zugspitze. The Austrian-German border runs right along the top of this spectacular mountain.
Und zweimal. Guten Appetit.
Danke.
And now the most scenic walk of the holiday. But first the chairlift, before the hog climb up the Grubigstein. Of all the wonderful places we visited, this high ridge on the Grubigstein must surely be one of the highlights of our holiday. The high range of mountains we could see in the distance were the Magnificent Alps, and that's where we headed for the next day. This beautiful Lechtal valley had everything that we enjoy, and it was perfect for our last day of cycling in the Alps. As we look back on our holiday, our 6 weeks had passed so quickly. We visited many places, but above all, it would be the flowers and the stunning alpine scenery that made our tour so memorable.